Track Wrestling here, Colorado Springs World Team Training Camp with two-time World Team member / comedian Chow.
How's it going, man?
It's going great. Thanks for taking the time with us.
Absolutely.
Well, let's start with the comedy stuff.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that? Where did it start? How long you been doing stand-up?
Well, I got picked on a lot, and I was a chubby kid, so I think the comedy came naturally, you know. And then, I don't know, man, it's something I always wanted to do, and one year, actually, I missed the Open because I was sick, and I felt like I was getting better, and my coach was like, no, you're not going. And I was kind of pissed, and then while my whole team was at the Open, I was like probably 22 or 23, just getting into it. I went and did stand-up, and then I actually did pretty well my first time, you know, and then there was a lot of bombing after that. But yeah, and then I've done stand-up here and there, just like open mics, and then I started doing improv at Second City, you know, this year when I moved back to Chicago at Northwestern, and I just love it, man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's good to do something outside of wrestling, you know, and have some other friends that are goofy.
So what, your first time up on stage was in Vegas?
My first time up on stage was in Minnesota, but my whole team was in Vegas wrestling the Open. My coach wouldn't let me go, and because I was sick all week.
Okay.
So yeah, I went up, and I just showed up to the open mic, and I was kind of like, I'm just gonna scope it out. Then halfway through the show, I'm like, I'm funnier than these guys. And I was like, can I still get on? They're like, yeah. And it was late as hell, but got some laughs. And I've been writing comedy for a long time though, but I'd like to get up more, you know.
Who are comedians you'd like to watch?
Oh, man.
Who makes you laugh?
I love Tom Segura. I like Hannibal Buress a lot, and he's a Chicago guy. I like John Mulaney. I listen to a lot of people though. It's kind of like music for me. I'm just like into somebody else at different times. I listen to a lot of different podcasts. I like Mark Maron a lot. Yeah.
So what? Can you give us a little sampling of your stand-up?
My stand-up's really inappropriate, man.
Okay, let's not maybe give a sampling of the inappropriate stuff. But
I'm trying to think of a non-inappropriate joke. Dalton, I don't have any clean material. What do you think? I got a Subaru commercial I made the other day.
Subaru commercial?
Yeah, remember it? The one that made Adam Kuhn mad?
Subaru. Don't say that one.
Yeah, that's also a bad one. I can't think of anything clean, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, I'm blowing all these opportunities on the camera, you know?
is this something that's potentially long-term for you?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I may have to do something else while I'm pursuing it, you know? And that's like a lot. In years past, I kind of was like, you know, I got to focus on wrestling. I don't have time for stuff like that. And now I make time for it, and it makes my wrestling better, I think. It gives me another outlet, and you know, I'm not just a wrestler, so I'm sure when I'm done wrestling, I'll keep trying to do it, and I'll you know, I'm ambitious, so I'll probably try and go for it pretty hard, but it's a hard thing to do, man. It's like wrestling, you know. I'm still in the stage of like sucking at it, you know, like it just takes years, you know, of comedy, but I really like this improv stuff because that you kind of got a team. Stand-up is more like wrestling. It's just you. So you bomb or you do good, it's like all on you, you know. But like improv, you kind of got a team kind of behind you. You know, they can pick you up if you're kind of lacking, and you can help your team out too. So that's been nice about improv.
Going up there, standing up there for the first time, were there butterflies? Butterflies like a big match?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Maybe even more. You know, I've been wrestling for 22 years. I've just been doing this comedy stuff since I was like 23, actually, going on stage. I mean, I've always been like just cracking jokes with my friends and stuff, but yeah, first time getting on stage. I mean, when I was a kid, I'd do plays, and my last play, I screwed up Willy Wonka. But yeah, other than that, man, I hadn't had a lot of stage time, mostly because my life is wrestling. But yeah, man, I get really nervous.
Who do you like to joke around with on the world team?
On the team, man, everybody really. Some people I gotta joke around in different ways, you know, like me and Robbie Smith, you know, we're really close. We're always joking around. Like me and Pat Smith, we're roommates. We know each other really well. But I think that some of my stuff is too raunchy for Pat sometimes. You know, the Marines get in there. The Marines like to joke around with me. Raw. Joe Raw. Yeah, so I kind of joke around with everybody. You know who's hilarious is Ellis Coleman. Ellis Coleman is like quick and witty. He's really funny and talented. Like he's not just a rapper. And Pat Smith has got the best impersonations. I really envy his impersonations. Like you should ask him to do like Jay Robinson. You should ask him to do a bunch of people. He's got them down. He can do Matt Lindland. He can do everybody. I don't know.
He's like the Frank Caliendo of USA Greco, right?
Yeah, I suck at impersonations for the most part. I can do like Christopher Walken and Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, like all the easy ones.
Give us a little Christopher Walken.
I'm wrestling here at the Olympic Training Center. Yes, now. Where are you? That's so bad. That's so bad. Yeah, Chow and Rao, baby. Pat Smith is the impersonator. I'm telling him all your deep and dark secrets.
Hey, I didn't know this was confessional here.
Yeah.
So, second world team.
Yeah.
You made your first one at 23. Let's go back to Greco in the beginning for you. How did you choose this path? How did you wind up on this path?
Man, it's really different than most Greco guys. I mean, I love Greco, but I love all wrestling. You know, if I wrestled all styles my whole life. I wasn't like a blue chipper. You know, growing up, my big breakthrough was winning Fargo and Greco, but I also All-American freestyle and. Some people would say, well, you're better at Greco, but I would argue that freestyle is more competitive stateside. You know, I think I'm a pretty good freestyler, but I don't put a lot of time into it anymore. I think that it's more competitive here in the States, at least, making the team. So I chose Greco because I wasn't done with wrestling, and I love wrestling. Yeah, I think that if I had to choose, it would be Greco anyways that I focus most of my time on. But you know, I was like this close to just doing freestyle out of college.
Really?
And I don't think anybody would have. I mean, I wasn't heavily recruited either way, you know. So it was kind of like a leap of faith. It was like a struggling musician, you know. I jumped out to Minnesota. I was living with a pastor for 3 months, and then I was living on a couch in St. Paul when I made my first world team, like for $100 a month, you know, just struggling. And then I made a world team, and then started getting paid, and you know, so I saw there was a clear avenue though for me to fund myself, for me to be on teams and stuff like that. And so I love all styles, but I saw an opportunity to be successful, and I needed to be successful to keep this dream alive, you know. So yeah.
Whose couch were you living on?
I've lived on a couple couches, but when I made my first world team, I was living on Brian Graham's couch. He's a past national team member. So I was in a house with Jake Fisher, who's a world team member, and Pat Carey, who's a fighter now out here, and Brian Graham. And there was like one bathroom, and 4 of us living there. I was living in the living room, and they all had girlfriends. At one point I had a girlfriend, so it was like 8 people in one bathroom. It was brutal, but yeah, man, sometimes you gotta do that.
Now you're not living on anybody's couch, right?
I was for a while. I was living on my brother's couch for a while just because I spent so much money on food. Now I got a bed. I'm still in my brother's basement though.
But you don't need a kitchen though.
No, I don't need a kitchen because I don't really cook that much. I'm more of an eater.
Well, you're saying you eat out just about every meal.
Just about every meal. I don't plan on living past 40. It's okay. And yeah, man. I got the nutritionist Taylor Maggio working with me, and I got some of the coaches on me because, you know, my weight was a little heavy at Pan Am's, but doing a better job of it right now. And I can snap into eating really healthy, and even when I go out to eat, I eat a lot of veggies. But yeah, I don't like cooking. I don't like doing dishes. I just need a a wife or something, I guess.
So you mix it up pretty well, or do you you got a few go-tos that
I ate a guinea pig in Peru.
you ate a guinea pig?
Yeah, and that made a lot of people, yeah, Pat did too. That made a lot of my followers on Chow, you know, kind of angry, offended. But, you know, it was local cuisine. Yeah, I'm a pretty adventurous eater, but I gotta, like, give credit to my older brother, because he was always the one, like, try this, try that. And, like, when I was younger, I was a little bit more picky, but now eat anything but olives, pretty much.
So explain for our viewers what Chow with Rao is.
So Chow with Rao, it used to be just like a story on my Snapchat or on my Instagram, and I just been taking pictures of, you know, where I go to eat for forever. And then I started making legit episodes, and I have my friend Tom Monaco, who's a legit camera guy. It's like how he makes his living. He'll edit all the stuff for me, and it's kind of a real just kind of guerrilla style of filming. Like me and my buddies, whoever I'm with, we'll just pass the camera around, like my phone and then my camera, and yeah, we're just making legit episodes. And it's all a little experiment, you know. I got a little following, and now that we're going into Worlds, I kind of step back a little bit. But yeah, I got 2 more episodes waiting to be released. But
Where can people watch it?
right now, we're mostly on Instagram at Chow with Rao, like CHOWWITHRAU, and we started a YouTube channel, but like we haven't really used it. So there's some videos on there. Sometimes I put stuff on Facebook and Twitter, but yeah, mostly Instagram.
Are you looking forward to trying out the cuisine in Kazakhstan? What are you looking
I
forward
was
to?
there and I ate some horse. I drank some milk that wasn't from a cow, and I don't know. And then I'm too nice, so like everybody tries it, and everyone just putting up their lips, and they're like, and then I'm like, and then they're like, have more, and so then I got stuck like, and they're like, you could have the whole glass, and then it was just like a clump, like this clump of something, you know. It's gross, but. There was some really good food in Kazakhstan, but I had some stuff that gave us all food poisoning too.
Uh-oh.
We had this like weird chalky cheese, and yeah, they had horse meat and stuff, but we were in Chimkent last time. Nur Sultan is a little bit nicer, so yeah, I'm excited.
What's your review on horse meat?
Horse meat, it's really gamey. It's, you know, it's alright. I'm an open-minded eater. You know, it's all right. But the funny thing was, last time we were in Kazakhstan, we were there for a month. We didn't know when we were eating it. We just knew we were eating it. And it was like, meat seems kind of, you know, because we just got what they gave us. And then, like, if we didn't eat it, they just cut it up and it'd be in the soup the next day. And then they just keep giving it to us, and we all got food poisoning. And there's squatters out there, so that was great.
As I mentioned, second time on the team. How's your perspective changed since the first go around?
Man, well, my first time on the team, I was just getting into it. I was about a year into full-time Greco. Super exciting. Now I kind of feel like a little bit more like one of the veteran guys on the team. I'm 28, but I feel even older, you know. It's really quick, where like last squad I always felt like I was a young guy. Like people were treating me like I was 14, even though I wasn't. And then I think because of my demeanor, like, you know, like I started Greco full-time after college, so, but now I'm kind of one of the older guys. I try to like step up as leader sometimes, but then sometimes I'm lacking too, so then a lot of guys on the team hold me accountable, and then my coaches, like Robbie Smith, so, but yeah, it's definitely different now because I've been through it. The first time I was here, I was just kind of like happy to be here, like, oh my God, this is awesome, you know, and now I kind of, I don't know, for better or for worse, I'm a little bit more of a road-worn man, I guess. The mustache doesn't give that up.
Chicago RTC.
Yeah.
You're an Illinois guy. You went back to Chicago RTC. I think a lot of people, when they think of that regional training center, probably think of the freestyle end of things, but you're there, Robbie's there.
Yeah.
What led you back there? What has it been like thus far?
Well, what led me back there was Matt Storniolo, the head coach there, talking to me, and Andrew Howe. And I knew Andrew Howe a little bit in high school. He would come over to Overtime, and I was part of Overtime and part of Oak Park's club in high school. And Andrew was always an awesome dude, and he's a great competitor. And talking to Cody Brewer and all of them, you know, it was pretty easy. I was at home, Minnesota at the time, with a broken jaw. I broke my jaw right before trials, and I wasn't wrestling trials once again. And they kind of hit me up, and they were like, "Well, you know, can we talk to you on the phone sometime?" I was like, "Well, I'm going to be in Chicago soon. We can do this in person." And it was just pretty easy, you know. I'm an easygoing guy. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. So they're like, "What's it going to take to get you here?" And I'm like, "Well, not much, you know." And it was kind of like a handshake, and I'll see you soon, you know. And that's just kind of the way I do things. Then when we were talking about getting another Greco guy out there, I suggested Robbie, and to see that actually happen was just, you know, beyond what I ever thought was possible. And, you know, he's done so much for me. So having Robbie Smith out there, man, it's been huge for me. And even though it's a freestyle training center, I think I thrive in that environment. I was a college wrestler. Everything I've done and all the wrestling, you know, that I've done, it's been real scrappy, just figure it out kind of style. So a lot of being at a freestyle like heavy place is a lot about figuring it out, and I think that I thrive in that environment. So it's been great, and being home, you know, is always good too.
I was going to ask how often are you grabbing legs?
Grabbing legs a lot, and I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what, Greco coaches will disagree, but I think loving wrestling for me is one of the most important things, you know, for me to be successful. And that's a silly thing, it sounds like sometimes, or it's kind of a silly thing to gauge or take into consideration with your like training schedule. But a lot of days I just want to get in there, and I don't want to think, and then Greco could be kind of a harsh sumo-like style sometimes. So to mix it up with these guys, and also to be given a little bit of responsibility to be somewhat of a coach, kind of personally, for like Luke Davison and Jack Jessen, you know, I wrestle with those guys pretty much every day. It's fun, man, and being in that college environment, you know, keeps me a little bit younger, even though I'm not one of the guys, I'm one of the guys, you know.
So you probably had to take a lot of pride in what Luke did over in Estonia?
Yeah, I'm super pumped for him. I mean, you can't ask for a better kid. I wrestle him and Jack pretty much every day, and he's just a tank. And when he's not with me, he's with Chow, or working on stuff with Jimmy Kennedy, or you know, working on stuff with Storniolo, and he's just an ears open, always working hard kind of kid, super coachable, and to see it pay off is really rewarding, and to be a little bit part of it is also, man, it makes me really proud. And I think that's a really rewarding thing at this point in my career, is to be any part of other people's success is really cool. To where, like, when you're a younger athlete, I think I was a little bit more selfish. I would still coach like a lot of different people, but it was kind of like a one-time thing, like come in, coach clinic, whatever. I'm kind of working with people every day, and I'm still focusing on myself, but to see them successful too, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Hey, great stuff. Any parting words for us? Any parting thoughts?
No, man, thanks. It was fun.